Hey, what's going on? We are here at the Hothead booth at PAX '09. I'm joined by Joel DeYoung. Joel, how you doing, sir?
Doing really well.
Now, you're going to give us a little on-the-floor demo here of DeathSpank, Ron Gilbert's DeathSpank. Now, this has been kind of billed as Diablo meets Monkey Island. What does that actually mean, though?
Well, DeathSpank's an RPG, but it's from the mind of Ron Gilbert, and so it's a very funny RPG. It's all the stuff that RPG fans will love. Like there's lots of stats and lots of armor upgrades and lots of fun like that. But everything in it is hilarious. And of course, being a Ron Gilbert game, fans of Monkey Island, the old LucasArts adventure games, will really recognize the puzzle solving, the dialogues, and the comedy that comes through that.
All right, so we're seeing the game in action here now. Why don't you just kind of walk us through what's going on in DeathSpank right now?
Well, so DeathSpank's walking around the world, and the mission he's doing right here is to kill some of the beasts because he needs to help someone out to save the chickens, which are being menaced by the beasts. And so you can see he's using his close-up attacks as well as his ranged attacks there. And if he makes friends with the chickens, then he may actually be able to use them as a weapon later. You might, if you can get a close enough look at those chickens, you can see they're a little bit demented. And once DeathSpank uses them to his advantage, they can be pretty bad for the enemies as well.
Chickens, always great allies to have.
Oh, absolutely, and they're always hilarious. It's kind of like monkeys, right? And so you can also see here as DeathSpank's walking in the world kind of rolls. It looks like a sort of a tiny little planet, and so it's a really cool effect. What we want to do here, you can see the world is 3D, but everything in the world is very flat and 2D. So we're sort of very much making it look like a storybook, you know?
Absolutely. Now, what is DeathSpank's deal himself?
Well, DeathSpank he's a hero. He's a hero's hero. And kind of a lampooning heroes in video games. DeathSpank's the kind of guy that always wants to help. He always wants to save the day, but he's not actually very good at it. He's the kind of guy that if he wants to get the kitten down from the tree, he'll end up burning down the whole forest.
A little quixotic then.
Exactly.
So still trying to help out the chickens here?
No, so we're sort of running through different parts of the world, and the great thing about this, this is the sort of starting area of the game, but you will the world in DeathSpank is actually really huge, and there's a lot of different areas, a lot of different environments that frankly don't have a lot to do with each other, and so DeathSpank gets thrown into a lot of different situations. There was also, in this game, no loading screens, so he not only will wander around this very massive world, there's interiors, there's dungeons, and you'll never actually have to sit and wait for a load.
So we're definitely seeing some of like that Diablo influence, that action RPG style of gameplay. How does the adventure game element figure into this?
Well, a lot of the quests that DeathSpank will receive will be talking to different characters in the world and going through a lot of the LucasArts adventure game style dialogues where he will get quests from them, and so that's where a lot of the adventure stuff is built in.
We're coming into a little village here. This looks like a pretty ratty little village, though.
That's right, yeah, and here, DeathSpank, he does obviously a lot of combat, but he has to work with the mayor of this town here and do a little political maneuvering as well.
Is that shop really named Bongs?
It is, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff like that in the game.
So rated T, is that what we're going for here?
It's not rated yet, but T is about where it's going to land, yeah, we believe.
So what sort of political maneuvering are we going to get up to here? Oh, here we go.
Oh, man. Is that how you treat your elders?
Dialogue trees, as promised.
I speak
that's right. This is Ubrick the Retired. So he's got a walker, and he's walking around, and he's seen better days.
Back in my adventurous days, that kind of talk would earn you a fatal beating.
Now I'm seeing...
Days, code for cross-dressing. Adventurous, like rescuing trolls and bludgeoning princesses.
I think he's got that backwards.
I'm a famous adventurer. They call me Ubrick the Retired. Formerly Ubrick the Bitter. Formerly Ubrick the Undefeated. Formerly Ubrick the Bastard of Hill Haven. Formerly Sally the Stable Girl. And formerly Ubrick the Bedwetter.
That's pure Ron Gilbert right there.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been really, his kind of style of humor really pervades the entire game. And Ron is, he's our creative director at Hothead, so he's involved in all our products. But of course, he's intimately involved with DeathSpank right now, and he touches every part of this. I mean, he'll be helping with the dialogue, he'll be helping with the art design and setting up the levels, and then he'll be like putting his hands in the code as well. I mean, he's writing code every week, so it's definitely his game. So. You can see this is the inventory screen that just came up there, where you can see all of the items that you can collect, and then the different different types of armor and so forth that you can don, and there's a ton of different items and a lot of complexity and depth in the game.
I know, see, definitely appearing on the character, which is always important for loot to be able to show up on your guy.
Oh, absolutely. And you will notice that we've got actually a couple of statues here of DeathSpank showing at the booth. And one of them, he has his classic armor that he starts with, but he also, the other statue, he has a pirate outfit. It wouldn't really be a Ron Gilbert game if it didn't somehow involve pirates. So,
any sort of can people expect more explicit references to past Ron Gilbert joints?
There are going to be quite a few surprises in there. I can't really say too much about it right now, but yeah, definitely.
No, reveal all the secrets right now, Joel.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the secret of Monkey Island is not revealed in the game, though. And Ron has not even told us that, so.
What that secret is?
No. I think he's going to take it to the grave.
Do we know what the secret of DeathSpank is?
Well, you'll have to play the game to find out.
I was noticing, now this is running on a PC, right?
That's right, yeah.
And I noticed that we're playing this with a 360 controller. Is this what sort of platforms are you aiming for with this?
Just about every platform we can. All of our games at Hothead, we really believe in just getting on as many platforms as we can, so that the gamers choose where they play it, not have it imposed on them. So we're actually official developers for 360, PS3, PSP, DS, pretty well everything. We're going to try to get DeathSpank on as many places as we can.
Did he just revive out of that outhouse? What happened there?
The outhouses in the world are actually the teleportation system.
Of course.
So, once you visit one, then you'll have access to it, and you can jump around the world that way.
That's a pretty filthy teleportation system.
Yeah, but it's just one more example of the kind of humor you're going to find in the game.
These guys look a little bit nastier than the enemies that we were facing earlier.
That's right. I mean, there's a lot of epic enemies. You'll see there's one of the scenes in the trailer that we're showing here at the show where he's on a mountain, and there's these massive trolls, really large enemies. So there's definitely bosses that are going to be quite epic as well.
Will DeathSpank have any companions over the course of his adventure?
Yeah, the game is a single-player adventure, but it also has local multiplayer co-op, and you can play as a sidekick with DeathSpank.
Excellent. Seeing a little more of the inventory screen here. Helmet of Intimidation, Gauntlets of Viciousness, great loot names there.
Yeah, the loot names themselves are hilarious. I don't know if you noticed the Boots of Ass Kicking, and they just the names get more and more epic as you get more upgrades.
Seeing a pretty good variety of environments and enemies here.
Yeah, and you'll notice we're able to, not only changing up the ground textures and just the environment itself, but we've got dynamic lighting and sort of, different times of day, and we're able to change it as you move to different areas. The lighting will subtly change and can change the mood and really give you a feel of being in a unique place.
Now we're in a little posher, nicer area here than we were before, a little castle space. What's going on here?
Well, there's definitely castles that he has to visit, and you saw the town before, and there's even a monastery, and there's just a ton of different environments.
Now, were those sleep arrows he just shot those ogres with?
I believe so, actually. Yeah, that was one of his abilities to make them sleep.
Sleep!
Make things a little easier for him there.
Now, originally this game was announced as being episodic, but that's since changed. What sort of motivated that, and what can people expect from the length of the play experience of the now unified DeathSpank?
Well, we really just felt like the story in DeathSpank is really just so epic and like such a huge arc. We really didn't want to release it episodically. DeathSpank sort of belonged. The story was too epic to be contained in a single episode, really. And so we had the episodes planned out in the story, and we basically just took most of that material and put it into the game now. So.
Now Ron Gilbert had worked with Hothead before, kind of consulting on the Penny Arcade episodes. How did you guys get involved with him for DeathSpank?
Well, we wanted to sort of play a part in trying to bring classic adventure games back to gamers. And so we thought with Penny Arcade, an adventure game would be the best way to tell that story. It is the best way to tell a story. And when we announced it, all we said actually at PAX back in 2006 was that it was a comedic adventure. And he emailed us out of the blue and said, hey, if by adventure you mean an adventure game, he said, I'm definitely interested in working with you guys. So we were thrilled and brought him on as a consultant to help with the game. And it was great. We actually went down to set with Gabe and Tycho and with Ron there, and he just on the whiteboard sort of schooled those two guys on how to make an adventure game 101. It was a lot of fun. And so we knew through working with him that he had developed the DeathSpank concept actually several years before and had never really had any publishers have enough interest to pick it up. And we were like, this is exactly the kind of game we want to work on at Hothead. You know, we love working on interesting characters and great stories, and also one of our specialties is turning into, you know, making humorous games. And so we thought this is perfect. And so then we said, why don't you join us as our creative director and join full time? He moved up to Vancouver, and you know, the rest is history.
Definitely seems like you picked the right time, like, you know, 09 and going into 10 definitely seems like the big return of adventure games, and especially you know, comedic adventure games, which, you know, personally my favorite type. So
yeah, and there's a lot of great things happening in the games business right now, with especially like indie game companies being able to make really interesting games. There's all sorts of new channels where you can, you know, sell games on digital distribution channels like Live Arcade and PlayStation Network, and so it allows really unique games like Braid and Castle Crashers, and, you know, the stuff that Telltale is doing, and a lot of indie companies, you know, to make interesting games that you're not going to get in a, you know, a large AAA, you know, boxed product that the big publishers keep pumping out.
Now I'm seeing a little costume change here for DeathSpank. You want to talk a little bit about his paulders there? Yeah, well, this is the pirate village that he's in, and so he gets the pirate costume, and you'll notice he's got 2 parrots on his shoulder as well, and and it's actually just a boat. Is that are those supposed to be a boat with cannons sticking out the sides?
Yeah, there is a pirate boat.
Awesome.
It just wouldn't be right without it.
Here we go, off to the pirate ship. Like you said, Ron Gilbert can't get away from the pirate stuff.
That's right, and you'll see, you know, obviously the boat is kind of small and looks sort of dinky, and this sort of represents the way DeathSpank looks at the world. I mean, he, of course, in his mind, this is like his massive, you know, ship with the Jolly Roger, when in fact it's just this little tiny boat. So
definitely picking up on more of that kind of abstracted art style. It seems kind of becoming maybe a little bit of a hallmark for Hothead.
Yeah, I mean, we really believe, I mean, you know, it's not just about, you know, racing to the best, most photorealistic game. You know, that's been the way it has been for a number of years. You know, everybody's doing that, and so it's really interesting to be able to make an art style that's actually unique. And I think a lot of indie companies you're seeing are doing that kind of thing with some of the new releases you see on Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. And so it's really important to us when we make a new game to really figure out what that art style is, to really get across the characters in the story.
Well, it's looking good. Thank you so much, Joel, for your time and for showing us the game.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time to meet with us.